And so I'm not going to say the only reason why I voted for Trump was because, and that changed because once Elon Musk entered, at the end of the day, he's there on an advisory position to go ahead, and it was temporary. I'm not going to not support his bill just because Elon Musk doesn't support it. And even if you don't support it, this is where it comes down to real maturity in business, politics, or just as a person in general.
Let it blam, and he pass it to his man. Got a batting glove on.
What is going on, everyone?
We are live, Stogies N Stuff, baby.
Episode 61. 61. Or as my fellow Mexicans like to say it, episode 61.
So I know it's been a couple of weeks. I mean, we've had some major events go on personally.
Oh, big time, huge.
We won't get into detail on that.
I will. Fuck, Gus. God damn, little man.
We will get into detail about all that.
Flying out of vehicles and shit. God, bro.
Shout out.
Nah, shout out to you, brother. Wishing you the best of health.
Yeah,
this was
man.
dedicated to you. I kid you not. Mike, Johnny, and I were here setting up for our last episode Sunday morning of last week. And,
last week.
We put all that on pause as soon as Mike got that call, and we said, fuck it, let's head on over to Houston. But you're doing better now. Don't mean I'm not going to give you some shit later on. I am. But right now, heal up, rest up, my little brother. And let's get you back to 100%.
That's right, man. Blessings, man. Just praying for speedy recovery.
As I've told you before, and I always will tell you, bro, we got you. Just focus on you right now. Yeah, you get better, man.
That's right.
Absolutely. But really quick, I just wanted to say that the last podcast you had asked me like how it's been, like how my experience has been joining the podcast. And I don't think I gave it I did a justice on it, man. It was brief, but I mean, I've been with y'all. This is the 8th episode.
Yeah.
The 8th episode already. The fact that we're in episode 61, it says a lot to y'all's like dedication and work ethic. Because, man, waking up at 5 on a Sunday, it's not easy. During the week, well, you have to, right? But on a Sunday,
it's like, fuck.
So,
it's tough, man.
Yeah. So
it's like our entire morning is dedicated to this.
Right.
So, it's like a whole half of the day in reality, if you think about it.
Yeah. We're here and we leave like at 11 roughly. So
somewhere around there.
Yeah, close to 6 hours of work. But it's just a testament, right? It's a privilege and an honor, as I said last time, to be here. But I don't want to overshadow that by just 8 episodes compared to y'all's actual 61 episodes. So it's been great. It's been great. I'm loving it.
I love to hear that shit, brother. Yeah. It has been great.
Yes,
continues to be great, and will continue to be great.
Well, it's all about relationships. And talking about relationships, let's go on to the main topic I know, man, it's breaking my heart, but it's got everybody talking about it right now, and that is the Trump and Musk breakup.
It's a breakup of the year.
Would you say it's a breakup or they're just taking a break in friend style?
No, they broke up, man.
It's getting heated, so it's a toxic relationship at this point.
That's exactly what it seems like to me, man. It just fuck, man, it's breaking my heart.
What would you say the biggest like celebrity breakup that y'all have,
this one
had kept up with?
Yeah. This is big.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to equate it to. Like, I feel like this is like superpowers breaking up, Like, it's not just like a Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt sort of breakup, like how it's going to affect the entertainment world. Like, this breakup is literally going to affect the world.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted the comparison, because this is bigger.
Yeah, like, because you got celebrity breakups, which is a section of something, which is entertainment. And then you got breakups that involve politics, celebrity status, economic status, social, which is politics.
Yeah, social economical.
Right. And it's like, holy shit, what does this mean for everybody? Now, clearly, Trump's a fucking president of the free world.
Right.
He's a president of the United States of America, which is the most powerful country in the world.
America.
There's no debate as to that. But fuck, Musk just has this undeniably unwavering influence on the people that it's almost like, what's going to happen now?
Yeah, because obviously through the products that he makes and his businesses, he influences a lot of people in terms of what they're buying and what they can expect from his products,
Yeah.
right? So that's a lot of influence.
Yeah, and let's do this. Because I see Mo pulling up something fucking cool right now. I don't know if he started recording yet. But I'll do a quick catch up on where we're at.
Okay.
So, obviously, Trump's run for his campaign. Musk finally and fully endorses Trump on the assassination attempt. He publicly states it on the next post.
So
"I
you're
am
going over the
endorsing Trump."
timeline.
Yeah, we're taking
Correct.
it
Okay,
back.
so
Just briefly.
I'm already. Let me pull up the timeline for you, bro. Here it is. And we're using Perplexity, as we mentioned before.
Oh, shit.
One of our
There
one
it
of our
is.
proud sponsors. You know, just
Yeah,
kidding.
fuck yeah, they are. No, they are. They are, bro.
Sponsors.
They pay our subs. Our
So look,
subscriptions
this
to
is the timeline
Perplexity.
of the Trump and Musk breakup. We're putting it into a timeline.
Yeah,
for you
look,
guys.
as I was correct before, Maudi,
So-
because Maudi, you're a witness. I didn't see this before.
No,
So
this is,
look at that. I'm already going off memory. That is when Musk.
this was of July
Publicly and fully endorsed
2024.
Trump.
Right, during the
That's right.
campaign.
Yeah,
Elon Musk publicly endorses Donald Trump after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. That shit just, and I think a lot of people forget that Trump went through this shit. They actually tried
Yeah.
to assassinate his
Could've
ass.
fucking died.
Our
little to
president.
no coverage of it.
Yeah, and you know what? People take it lightly. Oh, like, over, it already happened. You don't realize that is a very serious matter right there.
Yes, it is.
And I don't think you guys take, up to this day, I don't think any of y'all take it as serious.
No,
So whatever, that's very sad, very pitiful.
Really quick note on that. Really quick, and it gets borderline conspiracy. But there's only one rally that CNN aired, and guess which rally it was?
Pennsylvania.
Out of the hundreds of rallies he had, there's only one that CNN aired, and it was the one where the assassination attempt was.
Don't make no sense. So
Yeah,
then
and just leave
again,
that out there.
going back to the
Yeah.
going back to the timeline, Musk becomes a GOP donor, contributing nearly
top GOP
300 million to Republican efforts. That's crazy. 300 million. That's a lot of fucking money.
So this is where their relationship began, right?
It was almost cemented, yeah.
I mean, because was Musk? He was president in this rally, right? Was he president in this rally? No, he
At the
wasn't.
Pennsylvania one?
Yeah,
No.
no, he
No,
wasn't.
he started getting president after that happened, and then late 2024, pretty much once Trump endorsed as a mutual endorsement, Musk's head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
That's right. So late 2024, then Trump appoints Musk as head of Department of Government Efficiency, which is DOGE, a special government advisory role for a 100-day term, which ended May 30th. But on May 29th, we see coming up next of 2025, just a few days ago, Musk's government role expires. His tenure as head of DOGE officially ends. Now, guys, please understand that DOGE is not a one-man show. It's not just Musk. There's a panel of business experts, basically, that were put together as a team
Right.
to really go over the efficiency of the government spending. Okay, so it's not just Musk. And I know there was an interview going over all of these gentlemen's opinions on why the spending just basically needed to stop. Okay, or at least in that moment. Okay,
Right.
Yeah, he was already appointed, because going back to his campaign, when Musk became a big part of his campaign, that became another topic, right? And Trump's campaign, like, hey,
Yes,
we're
that's
gonna-
right. It was the waste, fraud, and abuse aspect. It was the fact that the current show being run was not feasible, nor was it something that would allow for the U.S. to continue to survive.
Right.
The U.S. would eventually, on that current track, have to declare bankruptcy because it was just something that was being bandaged over rather than cured or
Yeah,
solved.
and Trump's good at that. I mean, he's good at creating polarity in terms of this is Republican versus Democrats. So
Right.
This is what the Democrats are doing. Therefore, it's wrong, and this is how we're going to fix it. Okay?
Right. So keep in mind, guys, that's really important part of this analysis, because Musk's backing of Trump, other than having aligned political views on gender, on other things of planetary needs and just basic humanitarian needs, one of the biggest things was continued survival of the U.S. And how do you ensure the survival of the United States of America? Economics, finances. So his main spearhead in the campaign, at least Musk's, when aligning with Trump, was the waste, fraud, and abuse aspect, the DOGE aspect.
Right.
And he got working, guys. I mean, in that 130-day window, the first month was a big shock. After that was kind of other little shocks. But they saved over $150 billion.
And aside from, and I'm my opinion on this, how this works so well for the GOP, especially for Donald Trump displaying his efforts with Musk and all these capitalists, or I guess not. I don't know. Just what would you label these businessmen as that were in DOGE? Would you give them the label as capitalists?
Oh, you can say. I
mean, they were all very successful.
Because you can label either conservative, but I mean, I'd say like between.
The thing
two.
is, I don't know their background. They could have been Democrats as well. I just know them as businessmen.
Right. I mean, because guys,
but capitalists. I mean, America is capital based, right?
Capitalism, baby.
Right. So a lot of people find it offensive to say, "Hey, you're a capitalist nowadays," but it's just what it is. No. Would you say?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know the label like to give them, right? I would just consider them economic specialists. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know who's part of this panel you're talking about.
I was like, you never saw the interview?
I mean, I saw like what they were saying that these were kids, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the gentleman behind DOGE.
Oh,
like
no.
The
people,
committee, right?
Yeah,
I hadn't seen that.
Oh, no.
I remember I was just part of the mainstream aspect of it when they were trying to say that it was 19-year-olds and 20-some-year-olds that Musk had under him that was.
So those are basically the laborers, people that they had. That. But as far as like the other gentleman equivalent to Musk's status, it was a group of gentlemen. And I'll pull them up.
Yeah, honestly, you're enlightening me on this. I don't know about it. I never actually looked into how the committee was run. I just know that Musk was the head of it.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
Yeah, let me bring that up. The members of the Department of Government Efficiency. Let me bring this up. Let's see. Big balls. Let's see. Consists of 13 members. Legislative committee tasked with improving government efficiency at the state level. 8 Republicans and 5 Democrats. Okay, so here it is.
There you go.
All right, let me see if I can get. Let me bring this up some more.
And guys, by the way, I do think that it's safe to say that the creation of this department, I hope it lasts, because this is almost like an audit committee that is now a part of the United States. So it is historical in that respect. If it continues to exist, which I hope it does, and no post-president eliminates it, it's a necessity.
Thanks for having us, doing this. I know there's a lot
These are it.
Okay.
First, let me start with you, Elon. What are the budgetary savings goals, and how much do you think you've achieved so far?
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. So from a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion. We want to reduce the spending by eliminating waste and fraud, reduce the spending by 15%. Which seems really quite achievable. The government is not efficient, and there's a lot of waste and fraud. So we feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services.
I'm going to talk to all the guys.
It's not making it better.
I'm going to talk to all the guys here about the specifics. But for you, what's the most astonishing thing you found out in this process?
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more.
Shit. Casually.
For example, the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost about $10,000. Was the government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just a survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey. Do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what will be done with that survey. So the survey would just go to nothing. It was like insane.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
So in that time frame, 130 days. And the
Damn,
process
that's
is
a badass right there.
Yeah.
At some point, at 100 days? Or?
Not really a report. We are cutting the waste.
So I'm gonna pause this temporarily, and as we
that's the
continue
panel.
on. But basically, some other members in that video that we were watching right now were Tyler Hazen, former oil executive,
Oil and gas, baby.
Anthony Armstrong, former Morgan Stanley banker. So, and then they said 5 and other 6. I mean, there was about 5 to other 6 DOGE aides there. Each one of them got to speak and talk about their background as far as how they're relevant to this committee. And again, that's what I meant by it's not just all Musk. You had some other brains in there, other people that were technically credible, and I'll say in a quotation, to fulfill this role. But overall, like I said, it's just pretty heartbreaking to see this relationship start to diminish. And I know we're focused more on the timeline, so let's kind of get back into that. So Musk, I know Musk shared basically how our spending is completely out of control, right? It's fucking crazy. We're just spending money blindly from what I was able to see and what DOGE was able to share with us as far as sending money overseas to. It was a lot about, I don't know, what were they talking about?
Mismanaged spending.
Yeah, but from like condoms or parenting or I don't know, just a bunch of things that were very, very questionable on why we're spending so much money on these things. To what else? Elm Street. What is it? That show? The one with the Elmo and all them.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. You know how much? I don't know how much millions. Just
PBS.
Because the idea was that they were taking that show like across, right, like internationally.
Oh yeah,
like,
they were putting it like in the Middle Eastern states
so
and all those.
I mean, I
obviously
get it.
influence
Maybe they're
Western
trying to
ideas.
influence. Exactly, they're trying to influence this, but I don't know. I guess it just didn't make sense based on all the other efforts aside from this.
Right, like if you're viewing it from a business standpoint,
It's a fail. So cut that shit off already. It's just not working. Or come back later with it on a different approach.
Yeah.
But anyways, at the end of it all, as of May 29th, Musk's achievements fell short. Oh, and let me bring it up. I don't think I'm showing the timeline anymore. But they fell short with only 150 billion in federal spending reductions.
Well,
they were aiming for 2 trillion.
Yeah, that right there. I mean, because he only had 130 days, and he had a lot of pushback. I mean, a lot of the cuts that he was doing within the federal government, I mean, obviously got a lot of pushback. So that's tough.
And that's more than $1 billion a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. 150 billion is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough in the scale with the deficit that we're at.
Well, hear this out. He made adjustments. Cut off. One of the biggest one was the USAID.
Right.
That hasn't had the full effect yet. Imagine how much money they would have spent if they still existed, right? Like there's a lot of things that not just were cut off. So if you remember, if you paid attention to the interview, they were just saying, he said, our goal is to set things up to where we cut $1 trillion from the deficit or from the budget. So in other words, we got to see how these cuts or these modifications play out to see if it ends up saving the trillion like he wanted. And the 130 days was not to save the trillion already. The 130 days was to save as much as he can, but to set up the new system.
You're talking about the long-term
that
effect.
will save the trillion that he wants.
You're talking about the long-term effect of how it continues to save the country some more. I'm only going over the timeline right now. I'm not trying to make any statement as far as it's only 150 billion. I'm saying as of May 29th, 150 billion. They were trying to save 2 trillion because they already knew. It's not like beforehand, oh, well, we were only given this amount of time. They already knew that the government, the term for this DOGE effect was only going to be for 130 days.
Well,
they
Musk
already knew
being
that.
ahead of it.
Exactly. But he already knew that.
Yeah,
So I know they're, as far as him stepping out now, that's him. But I know during the departure and Trump giving this, I'm bringing up this photo because this was the last, from my understanding, this is the last time they were seen together.
Literally, yeah.
Basically.
Is the black
when
guy
he
there?
was-
Can you see it?
I can't see. When they were handing him the key,
Right.
Basically, what, some kind of golden key or something like that?
Yeah, golden key to the office.
Yeah. So just to show some recognition and appreciation, of course. And that was on May 30th?
Yeah.
That's when that happened. Farewell
Was
ceremony.
that the one that his kid was there?
No, this is
That's another one.
no. This
I
is
don't
not-
know.
No, the kid. You're talking about a previous video when the kid was just
He's telling Trump something.
Yeah, yeah. No, but this is the last time they were together. And this is with basically their farewell ceremony. Musk appears with a black eye, which it was stated why he had a black eye because he had told his kid to punch him
in the
because they were
face.
playing
5-year-old son.
Yeah. And because they were just horsing around, and then Trump presents the ceremonial gold key and lets the public know like Musk will continue to be involved with basically government's efficiency.
Right.
Then
Then
June
shit
2nd,
breaks
this is when everything happens. This is when we're starting to see all hell break loose. And
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately. I mean, as a matter of fact, we just logged into X, and we're already seeing still to this day the trending.
Right there, number one, Mr.
Yep.
Trump.
Yep.
Well, at the top, right there, politics.
Let me go ahead and open this up.
No, look at that. I mean, guys, unfortunately, this is just one of those things where, and we're going to get into the weeds of it, but we wanted to give y'all some quick needed context as to why we're here right now. Mm-hmm. And it all starts with the misleading or misunderstanding, however you want to label it, between both Musk and Trump. As we explained to you guys, Musk joined Trump's team not just because of the assassination attempt, but because of the principles. And obviously, as part of his logic was, well, I don't see them trying to assassinate Biden. So it's like, there's got to be something that Trump's doing that's against the establishment. Motives. What is the big motive behind Musk for this besides waste, fraud, and abuse, DOGE aspect of the government? It was what they did to his son. So look back in time, his son, who is now identifying himself as girl or daughter, was overtaken by the woke ideology. And Musk vowed, I am going to destroy the woke ideology. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is where the misleading or misunderstandings come in, or hidden agendas. I'm sure a part of Musk's big part of Musk's motivation behind joining Trump was there was a shared interest in the fact that him and her, boy and girl only, and sort of redeeming himself and his child of what was done to his child, his son. So what does he do? He succeeds in that and technically killed the woke agenda behind Democrats. But that's besides the point. What I'm getting at is motives, right, and interests.
So yeah, I wanted to go back to the point, which we're still breaking down the timeline, right? June 2nd. This is when Musk publicly criticizes Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This is where it all starts, the downfall, okay? And it says, calls the bill a disgusting abomination and urges Republican lawmakers to kill the bill. Musk argues the bill is fiscally irresponsible and will increase the budget deficit, which is everything that Musk and the DOGE were trying to basically fight against.
It's completely counter.
Okay? Then June 5th, 2025, this is where, I believe this is on a Thursday. This is when everybody's just going back and forth. Like, what the fuck is going on? Musk posts on X. Let me go ahead and... Oh, yeah, I'm showing it. Okay, Musk posts on X, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Suggests Trump is blocking the release of sealed Epstein documents. Musk later deletes the post. Trump threatens to terminate government contracts with Musk companies. Posts on Truth Social, the easiest way to save money in our budget, saving billions and billions of dollars, is to end Elon government's subsidies and contracts. Approximately $48 billion in SpaceX, Starlink, and Tesla contracts are at risk. Tesla stock drops 14% in a single day, erasing $152 billion in the market value and reducing Musk's net worth by $34 billion. So what I found crazy, or not crazy, but funny, right, was I think when they were going back and forth on X, the FBI director Patel was actually live with Joe Rogan, and they're like, "What's going on here?" And I'm gonna look up that video right now.
Oh, I think I can share it with you.
Yeah, but is it so it's like a snippet, the one you're going to
Yes, the one that I sent is like a minute snippet.
Cool.
Because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in
You
a
hear
bit of a spat.
Rogan,
Check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation.
What is have a nice day?
Cash Patel, real quick.
They're going back.
I'm not gonna get involved in that shit.
He said he was disappointed in Elon.
Yeah, they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump?
How does he know? I
Does he
know.
have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
fuck are they doing?
I know my lane and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean,
That's good.
I understand he
Yeah,
loves
man.
Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and
Yep.
arguing with people all day is bad for you.
Well, you raise a great point. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Half of what we have to respond to is the click army on social media.
This is going to...
So yeah, I completely agree. I mean, one, it's Trump and either it's Trump or his team, and Elon and his team. They spent a lot of time posting back and forth, and I think I agree with him. Like, what the? I mean, you saw the expression on Joe Rogan. He's like, "What
shit.
the fuck is
Even
going on?"
Patel's. I mean, he's like the fucking head of the FBI. He's like, this isn't like logical, rational. Like, there's something going on where.
Yeah, man. I mean,
involved.
it just puts everybody in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Why? Because one, there was a lot of efforts to finally get a party,
Right.
a party that the people finally felt like, hey, our message or our concerns are being heard. You've got a billionaire and innovator, true innovator of the modern world. And then you've got the most powerful man, obviously now, President Trump, finally in a good relationship that they can go ahead and push our values, right? Or values that are important to the majority of people. And then for this to happen, the split, when it finally felt like, hey, we're finally united again, it just fucking breaks everybody up. And I saw this, I don't know if I can find it, but I was with Jackie. We were riding back from Harlingen maybe about 2 days ago, and she was cracking up, and she sent it to me. And by the time I find it, it'll be irrelevant. But basically, it was like Tesla owners are fucked right now, and how you got Democrats keying their cars, and now you're gonna get some more Republicans basically keying their vehicles. They're like,
No
what the
shit.
fuck? Like, we're fucked overall, But it's just like, damn, man, like it's just sad to see,
Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate to see, man. I mean, these posts that were going back and forth, the idea of Musk claiming, which is now deleted, but publicly putting that
He's in the Epstein files.
fucking Trump is in the Epstein files. I mean, to make oh shit, what's that right there?
Okay, let's go over. Let's do a little old cruising through X. Let's see
Oh,
what's
there we
going
go.
on. Yeah. And just like that, Democrats are calling for the release of Epstein files thanks to Elon Musk and
Quick
Donald
Uno
Trump.
reverse on you all.
Exactly. All these Democrats, they're saying, and just like that, blah, blah, blah. Already went over that. What else? Kill the bill and release the Epstein files. Many believe this is all staged. What do you think? I mean, that's what I'm hoping, at least.
Me too, man. I'm hoping that there's a picture. We resolved our issues. We talked. It is a big, beautiful bill after all, with Musk's accent.
Oh, man. Let's see what else.
Is that what's her name? Fucking Stallion.
Megan the Stallion.
Is that who it is?
That's the horse in her. No, I'm just kidding.
That was good.
She released that stallion.
Financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making.
Sorry.
You crack yourself.
Oh shit! Musk is in the Epstein files. I'm kidding. Damn, bro. I mean, go back up real quick.
That's the kid that punched him.
Yeah. I think that's X. But go back up. Come on, man. You're really gonna do that, Musk? You're gonna destroy a relationship?
Yeah, you can't do
He
that.
had your son in the helicopter. He was holding his hand, taking him to the helicopter. Chingo, man.
Yeah, it's disappointing, huh?
It's
if
horrible.
if this is like true, because I mean, obviously there is an idea that this can be staged.
Right.
To add to that, like I don't know, I don't see the win-win if this is staged, but we can get into that later.
Where is the man who wrote these words? Elon Musk reminded President Trump on his own words, "I cannot believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling."
2013.
Yep. No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election, and our country's budget is not balanced. I couldn't agree more. No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election, and our country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. And so, I mean, damn, bro, Elon's an ultimate troller.
Yeah, he is, dude.
I don't know how he's got all the time for this shit, bro.
Well, that's a requirement.
Master delegator.
That's a requirement if you're gonna own the fucking social media company.
Musk calls for ending EV tax credit. We should get rid of all credits.
Oh, that was because the idea was that a lot of people were saying that Musk's retaliation was based off of the fact that Trump ended the EV credits.
Right.
And Musk is like, fuck no. Like, look, I'm actually a proponent of it, or a proponent of it.
Remember this? Breaking Trump just went bat for Elon Musk outside that White House while examining Teslas.
Musk put, remember this? The laugh.
He's never asked me for a thing, and he's built this great company, and he shouldn't be penalized because he's a patriot. He's an incredible patriot, and I don't even know if he's a Republican.
See, man, I missed this relationship already.
No
Let's see
shit.
what else.
Hey, look, Trump doesn't even care. Did you hear that? He's like, I don't even know if he's a Republican.
Yeah, like he acknowledges that. He's never confirmed to me whether or not he's a Republican. Where is this guy today? More tweets. Barack Obama is bankrupting this country. His budget adds another 4.4 trillion to the debt. Our debt finances China's military. It's time to get tough. We hold all the cards. Let's make America great again.
So this is everything shortly, right? Shortly when we found out that they had a falling out.
Yeah, essentially. Essentially.
Let's go over something you just sent me, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, so this is really quick.
This is what started everything, in my opinion.
Before we get there, really quick.
Tell me.
Musk leaves office May 30th was his last day, right?
May 30th, yes.
Right after the big beautiful bill starts making waves, but in such a short window than it should have. And I think that's a lot of what pissed Musk off. It's like you waited till not only I was just out, but you bypassed the ability for not just for me to review the bill, but for Congress to review the bill. And look at what Thomas Massey said. Thomas Massey is a rep.
So let's read this. It says, the House has 72-hour rule, which requires the bill to be posted 72 hours before passage. But the Speaker circumvented this rule with a manager's amendment that rewrote and added substantial portions of the bill as it went through the Rules Committee the night the bill was passed. There's another House rule which requires a date to pass before voting on the bill after the Rules Committee has modified it. Would you believe the House voted to suspend that so-called same-day rule? This means the final language of the bill was released only a few minutes before debate began. The vote on the rule changed, and the vote on the bill followed within a couple of hours. Elon is right. Members of Congress didn't even know what was in the bill until the night it passed. A few other members have also made this clear.
Because the claim was, if you go up top to the post that this guy was commenting, go up more. Right now, Elon Musk was saying that false, this bill was never shown to me even once, and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it.
Because he
had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem.
So look, because look what he's saying.
When he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types, electric. We want to have electric, but
because that's Trump doing what he does best and trying to relabel the narrative on why Musk is pissed.
We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different, and I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody, and he never had a problem until.
Here's what I think. The fundamental.
You can get it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me, and he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Look, press pause real quick. I think a lot of the misunderstanding too is those maneuvers are done by people in the cabinet. You know what I mean? Like the maneuvers of the 72-hour bypass, like that shit you would see from someone that's knows the name of the game to get bills passed and shit. What I'm getting at is I don't know if Trump had a direct say in, well, make sure that Congress has 2 hours only to review this bill. Knowing Trump, right, from what we know about him, I'm sure his thing was like, everybody's going to love this bill. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it towards in front of Congress already. And then from there is probably where maneuvers were made that comes off as if, what are you trying to hide from this bill or whatever, from me, from this and that?
Well, yeah, I mean, because what's the purpose of reducing the time that someone has to review the bill?
Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense.
Right.
If you're confident in your bill and you think it's going to have majority support as it should, why would you do it this way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give them the time to go through it. And
I think a large part of Trump's cabinet knew that this was counter to what Musk and Trump were running together, and they didn't want to allow Musk to have an ample amount of time to dissect this and review it. Would Musk have an ultimate say on it? No, he's not a part of Congress. He's not a part of, the enacting of a bill in any such shape, way, or form. But what does he have? Huge influence. Right. And he knew that this reaction would come about. That's the only motive I would see from Trump playing a role in bypassing the 72-hour rule, because not only is it a 72-hour rule for Congress, but it's also for Musk, because I'm pretty sure he had some unfettered access to a lot of these things. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mo?
I mean,
Johnny?
They're aligned with yours, bro.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I voted for Trump, not for Elon. I appreciated Elon's assistance and promotion of Trump. But even before Elon Musk was part of the campaign, I'll go back and say I was voting for Trump regardless. And so I'm not going to say the only reason why I voted for Trump was because, and that changed because once Elon Musk entered, at the end of the day, he's there on an advisory position to go ahead, and it was temporary. I'm not going to not support his bill just because Elon Musk doesn't support it. And even if you don't support it, this is where it comes down to real maturity in business, politics, or just as a person in general. When you understand, and I think this is where I'll bring it up in business. In business, you're going to have business owners, and you're going to have leadership roles underneath these business owners, right? Where a lot of times the company wants to head a certain direction, and you as a leader in the company will sometimes make the mistake, no, I don't agree with it. The company should do with what I agree with because I've done so much work, But you also need to remind yourself, do not fall into that temptation. There's going to be a lot of times where you need to remind yourself, one, if we're talking strictly about business, I'm not the owner of this business. And in this case, in politics, especially running the great nation known as the United States of America, our president is Donald Trump, right? So if no one held a gun to your head and you decided, I voluntarily want to help this man, especially after June, or when was it, July, when we went over the timeline, and say, I publicly now endorse Trump. Nobody forced him. He voluntarily did this because for the most part, he stayed neutral. He also has to understand that Trump doesn't owe him any kind of loyalty also towards only his specific views. At the end of the day, Trump has an obligation to still do what the American people voted him to do, which he said, I was going to go ahead and push out tariffs. I was going to go ahead and cut back on illegal immigration and have all these mass deportations, which I'll add. Nobody's talking about it back then. Everybody's talking about ICE right now, right? Mm-hmm. How they've been going like crazy, deporting people. I myself, as a highly involved in development, and everybody else in our area in the 956 are experiencing these pressures of ICE deporting, unfortunately, our subcontractors and stuff. It's sad. It sucks. It's painful. There's some good people involved. But I will tell you this. During Obama's term, the deportations was at that height as well, and nobody was talking about it at this scale. Right. So this isn't the first time this happens. It's just now everybody wants to actually talk about it, okay? It was the same about maybe, 12 years ago, okay? It wasn't anything different. It's happening again. And unfortunately, it's happening because of mismanagement of immigration.
Right.
Okay. So these are the repercussions. Now, good people are being affected by this as well. But what I'm getting at is there's going to be some times where there's some major leaders in an organization or in a company that are going to fall into the temptation that the company owes me or the organization owes me because of how much intensive labor, whether on the blue collar side or white collar side, that I put into this, and say your company or the country's decision making should be taken into account about how I feel at this. No, you got to remind yourself in this case, yes. Yeah. Well, you got to remind yourself in this case, Elon Musk and President Trump's relationship. Hey, Elon, I'm sorry to say you are not the president of this country. At the end of the day, it's still Trump. Even if you don't agree with everything he's doing, hey, make it known behind the scenes you don't agree with this, but you don't gotta go on social media and say, creating all this fucking drama, making it known. Like, where's really the maturity behind all of this? Talk about it like gentlemen behind closed doors. Let them know, hey, I know my position. I can't get involved. I voluntarily decided to start this whole DOGE committee. And even though I gave all my efforts, I understand you're the president, but just know I do not condone or I do not support this bill. I will make it publicly known if they ask me about it. I was focused on my responsibility on cutting budgets. It goes against everything I'm saying, but there's no room for insults. There's no need to call him a pedophile. There's no need to go ahead and bring up all these Epstein allegations, say that kill the bill, impeach Trump, get JD Vance on there. That's where I see the lack of maturity. And again, this falls not only in this case for the running of our nation, it goes with organizations, it goes with businesses. Unfortunately, this is where I see a major fail on Musk's end. I'm not saying he doesn't have any right to bring up his concerns. I just strongly disagree with how they're being brought about and how it's being managed by him and his team. At the end of the day, Trump is our president. It is what it is. Suck it up.
Right.
Stop fucking crying about it.
Right.
No, I'll tell you this from experience, and all of us here are in our 30s now.
Yeah.
We've lived 30 beautiful years in this country, right? There's going to be no president that's going to completely give you a way out of the world's struggles. We're all going to always deal with bullshit. It's never going to change. Whatever industry you're involved, whether it's law, real estate, all these different industries, import, export, etc. No one's going to be here to save your actual problems. It all comes down to personal development. Just be better fucking human beings, ladies and gents. I promote the Bible. I promote Christianity, and that's all I have to go ahead and share some more. Now, I still want to do a deeper dive, but you asked me my position and how I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I see it.
I respect it, dude. I mean, the big takeaway I see from you is professionality, demeanor, and it's not about you.
It's not. And that's what Musk is making it about him.
And that is where I think it became personal for Musk. I think what became personal was it's subjective, and we ultimately don't know Musk's intent or Trump's intent on any of this. But what I do think is that it probably was a big deal for Trump to publicly endorse someone. Because with an endorsement comes a full backing.
You're talking about
comes
Musk.
A wave, yeah. Musk endorsing Trump.
Yeah.
Comes a backing and comes a full wave of support that's going to come to Trump. At the time, I think, when he endorsed Trump, I think he had about 180, 190 million followers on X, which I'm not saying that's an automatic 180, 190 that will go behind Trump, but that's a huge fucking influence. Like,
it is.
That's like almost half of
but
the
nobody
country's population
nobody
size.
forced him. No one forced him.
This isn't a question of force. This is a question of deception, to me. This is a question of, I'm curious as to what conversations were had between Musk and Trump behind closed doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Who could... One, I completely agree. And because, the fact that Trump decided to appoint, Musk to this position, they were obviously talking behind the scenes.
Correct.
And who knows what Trump could have, promised Musk, if anything. Something, right? Like you back me, I'll back you, with your companies. But I mean, obviously, Trump's a good businessman and a pretty good politician. I mean, he deals with Russia and China all the time, so I know he knows what to say and how to say it.
I mean, they're both doing a great job. Musk obviously went how he can go ahead and bring down. Not only Musk, remember, it's the whole committee of DOGE, but Musk leading it. Did a great job, in my opinion, in showing in full transparency how our government and the previous political party known as the Democrats were spending our fucking money. And that should have pissed off more people. And, weirdly enough, it fucking didn't. For most Republicans, it did. But on the Democrat side, it's like they'd, kind of just brush it away. All that. You guys are focusing on the wrong things.
That's right.
It's like, no, we said we were going to go ahead and look into this, But, again, also, Trump has been doing some great fucking things too. Look at the billions of dollars that have been invested back into the United States just because of his strategy behind tariffs. Right. I'm going to forcibly make you guys want to have a relationship with you guys. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to remind you the type of influence we have. Yeah. That is power. Now, one could argue like, oh, he's abusing it, these countries and stuff. Motherfuckers, they've been abusing us for fucking years. Yeah. And we, the people, have been paying for it. It's about time we demand some more respect on our end because we are the world's consumer. We already went over this. Everybody relies on our purchase. So who's looking out for us? Can you say your country leader is looking out for you, the best of your interests, if they're worried about other countries first as opposed to ourselves? Right. It's about time we improve America first. And it's like they say, you got to take care of your inners first before you take care of anybody else. Yeah, that's what was done first. And I appreciate that from Trump. And again, they're both huge on their roles with government or the United States growth, because nobody in the world can do right now what Elon Musk is doing. He is the pioneer behind space travel and forward thinking, in my opinion. Yeah, full on innovation. You hear people throw out the whole term innovation. What the fuck does that even mean? I can tell you, just look at Musk. Whatever the fuck he's doing, that's the innovation for you. But then you talk about business and you talk about making some money and you talk about management of debt. And notice how I say management of debt. I will tell you this, from my opinion, probably Trump is the best at managing debt. So
I don't know about that.
He still has got this $1 billion status, and it's because he's been managing debt.
I'll get into that.
So you can, but that's my opinion. My opinion is he's not afraid to file bankruptcy. Everybody looks at bankruptcy as a bad thing, a scary thing, but it's a strategic move at the end of the day. He's had some failed businesses. He started off with a loan of $1 million, or $2 million, whatever he brings. People make a joke of that. In reality, guys, the amount of wealth he generated from that loan is fucking impressive. You can give anybody $1 million or $2 million, and I'll tell you right now, they'll either spend it all, and guess what? A lot of times people don't even know what to do with that money. I tell people all the time, if you really think about it, making money is actually not hard. It's keeping it and having it return on you however many times over, which I think in my area, real estate, the average is about 1.7 turnaround. As a company over here at UR Home Texas, we focus on turning that about 2.5, 2.7 times around. And that's what's given us exponential growth, nothing less than 40% every year.
You mean like an
how you turn around that money that you're investing. Correct. Okay. That's exactly what I mean. So for someone to get this amount of money doesn't necessarily mean that they'll make it grow. And that's what's more impressive. So I will bet, I have confidence that Trump, although he's asking for some more basically credit, saying we need to go ahead and increase the spending to 2.4 to 2.6 in a decade. Okay, guys, doesn't mean all of that's going to be used immediately, but they're saying within the next decade we're asking for 2.4 to 2.6 trillion. Is that correct? Is that the number that's being requested?
Sounds right.
Okay, and trust me when I say I can manage this debt correctly, or this credit that we're getting, so that I can go ahead and make America great, quote unquote great again. But then I see Trump saying, guys, we can't spend more. Fuck. But then again, Trump saying, well, you've never had a president like me. You had me once, but now I'm back and better. Go ahead and trust me again. I've already in 130 days also, because he's had the same amount of time. I've brought in all these hundreds of billions of dollars in also into the U.S. Imagine what I'm going to do in the next 4 years, you know. But go ahead, put your take into it.
Damn, out of that dopio kicked in.
Fuck yeah.
All right, I'll address it. So a big part of the problem is you said something that was very interesting, and you said you got to take care of your innards first before you can go and start doing things. With a deficit as high as ours is, what do you think is taking care of innards? Is it spending more money, or is it trying to fix the problem at how we got that deficit that high?
I think it's both.
Well, what do you think should take priority?
I don't think one has more priority over the other. I think it's circumstantial. I think is, okay, all right, we're on a Monday, starting a new week.
And keep it concise, because I want to get my input in.
Okay, we're on a Monday, and we're starting a new week, and this, I don't know, briefing gets given to me. Hey, you have a meeting with X country stating, hey, we're going to require your government to invest $250 million, and on our end, we're looking to invest $640 million. Okay, I need some government officials, whatever. I need a bill that's going to allow us to spend $250 million, even though we don't have it right now. And then that's what you're initially looking at the bill, because look at the return that we're getting. Look at the investment we're getting from everybody else. It makes sense. And then you have the cutting of the deficit. Say, hey, look, we're spending too much money over here and we're getting no returns. And like, okay, we'll cut that, even though they might be in somewhat similar relation. So, for instance, I'll use in the video we were just watching, you had Trump bringing up that he wants to make sure that vehicles or the sale of vehicles are in all areas, from combustion to oil to electricity, EV, not just solely focusing on energy through solar. And I know what he means by that, because during that heated debate, Elon was showing China's chart of their investment in solar, and the U.S. is going down. It's basic math. Even someone with an elementary math skill set can go ahead and see where we should be going. Well, not necessarily, but continue on. I can keep going, but I'm gonna leave it through there.
Okay. Now, I don't disagree in the general context that it's important to do both. You have managing of debt, and then you got to make money. The problem is the current state of the U.S. It is adding debt and deficit at an unprecedented rate, to where the problem is not going to be solved by just making more money. Unfortunately, it's not.
I agree. I don't
It is at a
think so either.
trajectory where I don't care if Trump makes $1 trillion over the next year if he wants from tariffs. The debt is increasing so much that's going to have a slight dent to none in the overall deficit. So what does that mean? The current priority is to change the current system and how the debt is increasing and how the deficit is managed. So think about that. What does that mean? It means you have to prioritize managing and controlling the debt, which is the Musk route. I'm not saying you shouldn't do both. I agree. But at the end of the day, I do think that making more money, although is typically the answer in business sense of growing a business, right now you can't grow something that's on the trajectory to die.
Yes,
within the next few years, right?
Yes.
It's almost like, okay, yeah, you're making more money, but how are you going to keep us alive? Because the reality is, for these next 4 years, these tariffs will stay in place, but I don't fucking know if the next president or the next person is going to do the same shit.
Right.
I don't know that. Right? So what does that leave us? If the fundamental problem is not solved, then we're back in square fucking one. And not only that, we're back in square one with a bill where I don't care if it's over 5 or 10 years, is doing nothing but adding to the deficit $2.5 trillion.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think where everybody's making the mistake is that cutting is the only way to do it.
Oh, no, it's got to be both.
So
that's why I agree with you. Generally speaking, it's got to be both expanding and lowering.
That's right. So what I think, in my opinion, is both of these gentlemen know how to make a business grow, right? But one thing that I will put, I guess, in both of their favors, and it's hard because both of them have a business background. You get me? But they're both totally, entirely different leaders. Trump is not afraid to take risks, right? And one could argue not Elon Musk isn't either, right? But Elon Musk is very calculated when it comes to cuts first. He's very logistic based. Trump, in my opinion, is very influence based. Like, hey, I'm not afraid to take the risk. I don't even have to look at all the numbers, and I already know that the benefits, or he just has that. We've talked about it before, that it factor. You get what I mean? He just has it. If he strongly believes on how he's going to go ahead and leverage countries or companies for the benefit of the U.S., he may not have an exact dollar amount, but he's like, believe me, I already know this shit is going to work in our favor. Now, I think he's also taking into account budgets. Now, as mentioned, I think he's also taking into account budgets, right? But it's not his only thing. And because everything that DOGE and Musk and everything was bringing on, he was basically for it. He was not necessarily going against anything Musk was saying. Well, at least not to the best of our knowledge, of course, right? But he was initially the one that endorsed this and made this happen. I don't think anybody else has initially put something like this into place, at least not in our lifetime, right? We can go ahead and do a history dive later into it. But he's obviously condoning that new budget management and saying, yes, cutting on some things that don't make sense. Let's fucking do it. But at the same time, he's also letting you know we're going to have to go ahead and spend some more money to make some more money. Because the way I see it, if I was in Trump's position, is like, okay, we're in all this debt and we got even into more debt because of whatever else we fucking funded, from Ukraine to all these other fucking wars. But that was money that I didn't even get to mess with. That's money that's already been sent out. I do need some money. I was like, because we're cutting $150 billion of cuts is not going to let me do anything that I'm doing, because all this money's already been sent out and I can't get any more money back. Yeah. I need more money. I was like, in order for me to do as a president and promote all this growth, I'm sorry, that money's already been spent and you only brought back $150 billion and I'm only here for 4 fucking years and 3 years is already coming up. What can I do to make the impact that I say I was going to do? I'm sorry, Elon Musk. I understand this is what you want, but the United States is not company based. I only have 4 years or 3+ years now left. I'm short on time. I need to make sure that, because we don't know what's going to happen, whether a Democratic party takes over or another Republican, that what I do at least puts us in a good position. And then I said I did this because I don't have a lot until my time with the United States or as president of the United States is not unlimited. I'm not going to more than likely have an extra term.
Right. I understand where you're getting at. And I think that's perfect sense. And that's why I think that ultimately this relationship was inevitably doomed. Musk, and you're right, 4 years versus an infinite or, a non-ended amount of time. Musk has been CEO and primary shareholder of Tesla since its inception.
That's right. So
it's 10+ years or more. Trump
and look at how long
in and out of office, right?
Look at how long it's taken him to get there.
Trump is in and out of office, right? So I think you're hitting it on the nail in the sense of, all right, Trump's like, Musk, I don't disagree with your total output, but at the end of it, right, that's being spent already. How am I going to do the changes that I promised on my campaign overall without having a larger deficit where, you know what, let's put a little bit more money into this and hopefully we get out of this. That's the only option I have left. I think the problem with that is that it just doesn't make sense with either's ideology, right? Musk is like, no, we have more time for this. And from a general standpoint, we do. But Trump's like, no, dude, I don't. I'm sorry. Like, we got to do this now and we got to do it my way, right? It's unfortunate, but it was inevitable in that sense when you see it in that respect. I don't disagree with either's approach. I don't disagree with Musk and why he's mad, and I don't disagree with Trump and why he's disappointed. He's not mad, he's disappointed. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Musk is mad from the shit he's been pulling. And I definitely don't agree with the way Musk has been reacting. But I'm just curious as to what was represented between the two. Mm-hmm. What was the understanding that they had? Because there's a public understanding, and then there's a behind the closed doors understanding. I don't think there was any malicious intent, like, oh, you're going to do this, scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of thing, quid pro quo, government versus private. I don't think any of that. But from a relationship standpoint, what was promised with Trump and Musk and vice versa? I don't know. But I do think that I agree with you that it could have been handled from a way better professional standpoint.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, just politics in general. Am I right? Like fucking
dirty.
They get messy.
Real
But
fast.
I mean, I completely agree with y'all's approach, right, or thought process. I mean, we obviously want to give Trump the benefit of the doubt that the decision he's making is for the people, and I believe so. I mean, because this big beautiful bill does that, right? I mean, they're cutting tax, or they're basically tax breaks on people that make less than $160,000 a year, right? Giving them child tax credit. Tax credits on the tip, right? The people that earn tips, Medicaid, all of that. So I mean, the idea is that he's helping the Americans, right? His people, and of course, like you were saying, Mike, when you put two alphas in a room, there obviously one has to come out on top.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's Trump, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we also can't, because fucking Musk threw his hat in the ring. He got into politics and
he played the game.
Let's just play devil's advocate. I mean, yeah, he played the game and he put himself out there, right? He was a target, and I mean, look at what happened to his companies as soon as he
dropped 15%.
Yeah,
he lost $34 billion towards his net worth.
As soon as he endorsed Trump, I mean, they were fucking lighting his products on fire. Like, let's not forget that.
Shit.
So it's like, dude, like, I did this for you. Look at what happened to me. And, and you're going to do me like this? Like, I get it, right? However, I don't agree the way he's reacting. That's very childish of him. But, I mean, at the same time, it's very personal. Like, my fucking companies took a hit, after backing you up. Thanks a lot.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like I threw myself in the fire for you. And that's what you were saying, the whole, well, no one put a gun to your head to do that. I had a campaign to fulfill. You could have read the fine print and what I completely supported in my campaign. You were in line with one of the 100 things that I wanted to do. And yes, I'm glad that got you on my train. But at the same time, it all doesn't give you the right to throw the train off the rails because that one thing is now being derailed.
Yes. Yep. Like, my agenda was already my agenda beforehand. Everything I said I was going to do. Now, was I trying to do some more for you supporting me? Yes, of course. But I still have to stay true to what initially I already had planned to do. Right. And I never said in my campaign that I was going to completely just eliminate spending. Mm-hmm. No, I said I was going to make America great at whatever cost. And so this is initially what's on the bill. So again, Perplexity, amazing tool here. Let's go over the key provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. I love the name of it though. One Big Beautiful Bill.
BBB.
So
baby.
on the tax cuts, you've got.
Oh, you mean your
on the tax cuts, you got permanently extends the 2017 Trump Tax Cuts and Job Acts, which would otherwise expire at the end of 2025. No tax on tips and overtime pay for workers earning less than $160,000 per year. Mm-hmm. Those of you guys saying, what about the middle class? There fucking is, okay? Repeals federal excise taxes on gun silencers and indoor tanning services. I don't know what that is all about.
Politicians, bro.
Right?
But I need my tanning.
Increase the child tax credit to $2,500 per family through 2028, and then after 2028, basically to $2,000. Raises the state and local tax deduction cap from $10,000 to $40,000 for taxpayers making less than $500K. That is a big cut right there, and that's also for, again, middle class. Creates new tax advantage savings MAGA accounts for parents. Eliminates or reduces green energy tax credits for solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles, and EV charging stations. Yep.
Right.
Rolling back incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act. Makes interest on auto loans tax deductible and expands health savings accounts. That's awesome right there.
Yeah, it is.
That is huge. I love that. Spending and budget changes. Cuts non-military government spending and reduces funding for programs like SNAP, food stamps, and Medicaid, tightening eligibility requirements.
That's addressing the budget.
slashes $330 billion from student loan spending over 10 years and changes Pell Grant requirements. Great. Changing the requirements, looking more into that, how that spending's being managed. Increase military and border security funding by $150 billion for defense and allocates billions for border wall construction, detention capacity, and hiring more border patrol agents. Implements work requirement for able-bodied Americans receiving certain federal benefits. Okay. Immigration and border security provides $45 billion for adult immigration detention and family residential centers. Imposes new fees for immigrants seeking humanitarian protection and remittance. Am I saying that correctly?
And on remittances.
Yes. Restricts access to federal benefits for mixed status families and unauthorized individuals. And enhances screening and verification for unaccompanied migrant children. Guess what?
Oh, that's a huge one.
Hell yeah!
Because that's the one where they were. That's how they were getting the kids, and they would just
trafficking.
Right.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Other notable items: increase for U.S. debt ceiling by $4 trillion. This is where everything is going all crazy. Modernizes air traffic control and invests in shipbuilding and munitions production. This is great. Modernizing all of this, all these fucking airplanes and shit crashing into each other and all that.
Controlling that.
Reigns in Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and rolls back certain Biden regulations. Great. Authorizes a sale of expanded spectrum to strengthen rural broadband and support emerging technologies. And then the fiscal impact right here. Estimated to add 2.4 to 2.6 trillion to the national debt over a decade, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Causes millions to lose Medicaid coverage due to stricter eligibility and work requirements. And delivers significant tax relief for many Americans, but criticized by fiscal hawks for increased deficit. This bill is amongst the most comprehensive and controversial pieces of legislation proposed in recent U.S. histories. I mean, that's just an opinion, but still. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's overall what the bill has.
Yeah.
I mean, my take is that, like I was saying, the idea that he wants to make America great again by putting America first, right? So and going back to what we're saying in terms of the United States being a capitalist country, right?
Right.
As an individual, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially if you voted for him, that he's doing it for the benefit of the country. Whether it's going to impact the individual themselves, that'll remain to be seen. But I mean, like, personally, I'm like, well, yeah, America first. The individual is gonna have to figure shit out for themselves. But that's just that's a capitalist mindset.
Right.
Not everyone has that mindset, but giving Trump that benefit of the doubt, that during his term here, we're gonna improve. And I mean, that's the idea of this bill.
Yeah, man. And so we just gotta trust it. At the end of the day, again, this is just. I'm not gonna say I agree with everything that's on here also,
right.
But what I do gotta trust is I understood his position from the beginning, even before Elon Musk decided to join in, and my vote was going to and always be still with Trump. So I'm gonna trust that there's an actual plan here. Yeah. Trust is a really hard thing to give, guys, and that's why we have all these issues.
Right.
Okay, it's not just politics; it's everything. It's a relationship overall. But I will tell you from experience, how well you manage conflict when it comes to having civil conversations will determine how strong of a relationship you continue to have, and whether or not we're going to go ahead and have a standing Republican Party candidate after Trump's 4 years. Right. You get me? So I kind of like how I don't agree with how Trump's managing this debate with Elon, or this argument with Elon. I think he wants to do a better job, but I will say he is managing it better than Elon. Mm-hmm. I will say that.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, at the end of the day, he's the politician, and that's my thing, right? So you have two conflicting personalities that somehow, by the grace of God, manage to align for the greater good. We'd propose. You have one man that's highly based on first principles, meaning established rules are established rules, and that's it. And then you have Trump, who is naturally a businessman and politician. Businessmen and politicians are highly manipulative. They will tell you what you want to hear. Where does this link back to? I always like to link it back to Dune, the author of Dune.
Frank Herbert.
That's right, baby. What did he represent as to why he wrote his books? The whole reason behind it in an interview. and I believe it was with Brian Gumbel. He had the interview with. And he says the takeaway is be careful with charismatic leaders. Be careful with leaders that are able to sway you and tell you the things you want to hear to get you to agree with them and do what they want you to do. Am I saying Trump's a bad man? No. Am I saying Elon is a bad man? No. But at the end of the day, we cannot all be naive to completely take things on its face and take things just because they're saying they do it. Just because someone says they're going to do something does not mean that they're going to do it. Jesus said it himself, that, obviously the prostitutes and tax collectors, if they're not misrepresenting things, will be the first ones to enter heaven as opposed to these others. Why? Because it doesn't matter what you say. What matters is your intent and what you're doing. Now, Trump's actions have won me over. Trump's actions have spoken loudly in terms of what his benefit towards wanting to help everybody. I understand that. But at the end of the day, my thing is, if it's just this bill that's causing the disagreement between Trump and Elon, then I'm going to have to go with Trump in the sense of he only has a finite amount of time when you put it that way. I was not considering that. And when you look at the 4 years of having to do this big change, you're having to set it up as well so that everybody's in line with the path that you're creating. But if that wasn't the case, and if that's not the case, then I'm not a big supporter of it. Because first principles, going back to what Musk is saying, is no, we have to address this deficit. If not, there's not going to be nothing to steer in the next 10, 15 years. We're going to be some other country that's taking over because we're bankrupt and we can no longer label ourselves as the United States of America. Right? Because it's done. So at the end of it, it aligned, but now it's at total 180 between each other. And we'll see how it turns out. There's really only two ways that you can manage a business. You either make more money or you reduce the costs. And Musk is renowned for being the type to reduce costs. What did he do? In his book, there's a book, obviously the biography done of him. And what it is, and he's living, right? So the biography done of him, he's not past Musk, still here with us, says that this man made his own rocket company and made his own rockets because it was too expensive to buy the rockets made. So he made it at less than half the cost, each rocket. It's a lot more of a long-term solution. But again, going back to what Maudie was saying, Trump doesn't have that luxury of long-term. 4 years is fucking minimal, guys.
It's nothing.
4 years is nothing. And to be able to do the changes he wants to do with just deficit cuts is not going to cut it, unfortunately. Not even just with tariffs alone. And speaking of tariffs, the reality is, I think, honestly, is the purpose behind the tariffs was the collateral benefit, I would think, would be getting more money in. But I think ultimately what he was trying to do is get people investing in America again.
Yeah, it's leverage.
Yeah.
How do I get
the Saudis investing almost $1 trillion?
It's like, how do I get
as well?
Yeah.
You've got all these countries.
How do I get these countries to have these conversations with me seriously, where I'm saving time? I'm gonna have to force them to bend the knee. And how do I do that? By imposing these tariffs, meaning, hey, you guys already know how serious I am about this. Let's not spend the next 4 years just talking about it. I need results right now within this first year because, again, I am limited in time. So, again, I think everybody, and I'm thinking even Musk is failing to realize he doesn't have a lot of time. He needs some credit to go ahead and basically make these moves. So we'll see. And
they just gotta fucking get together, get on a call or something, and hash this shit
out. But they don't want to
talk
about it, slap each other around. It's okay.
Yeah, look, it's brothers. Look, it's like this is the typical fight you see between the accountant and the business owner.
Well,
the accountant's like, why are you spending money we don't have?
Yeah. Well, you got a new.
I gotta grow the company, man. You figure it the fuck out. I'm gonna grow it.
Well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with the Treasury now, because that's coming up.
That's right.
Trump's
already telling the Federal Reserve too that he's got to reduce the interest by 100 basis points.
Well, yeah, I mean, even with the Federal Reserve, isn't Powell supposed? Because what's the term?
Powell.
Yeah,
he's the chair,
right?
Fed chair. Jeremy Powell.
So let's see right here. Yes, appointed for 2026 already. So Powell's term as chair ends in May 2026, and it's possible he could be removed from the position before then.
If he reduces the interest rates,
that changes everything.
That'd be fucking legit. That'd be cool. And that would lower inflation.
For middle class especially. Well, it's already, and here's the thing, it's already been lowered. Inflation's gone down dramatically. No, not the interest rate, but inflation has gone down dramatically to the point where I think Chase made an announcement that, hey, never mind, we don't think inflation initially getting any worse or anything. They're just like, it's heading the right direction.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see, man. It's just it's a lot to keep up with, guys.
It is, man. And honestly, guys, look, these are our raw thoughts. We get together, we discuss with you guys, and the idea is for us. Our opinion is what you heard, right? If you listened through all of it, which I hope you did. I support both my men. I support Musk and Trump, but Trump's my president. Trump is our president, and he needs the full backing of everybody to be able to bring to life what he's promised in our campaign, which you supported as well, Musk. Yeah. And though I agree with your first principles take and the fact that we need to address the deficit first, I do agree with that. At the end of the day, I do agree that Trump has a limited amount of time, and he's just doing what he thinks is best to be able to enact the changes he needs to make. So we got to go from there, man. Shit.
We'll see.
What do you think, bro?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Stop crying.
Stop being a little bitch.
It is what it is, man. Just fucking go back to making money on your company. That's it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, I guess should we end it here?
Man. I think so, man. I mean, it's a lot of info we covered.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot more, but maybe we'll give an update in the next time around, or we'll see where this ends up in another week or so.
Yeah, because this is fresh. It just happened. So
it just happened.
There's a lot that's gonna play out still.
All right, guys. So stay tuned. Next episode. This concludes episode 61. Stogies and Stuff.
Subscribe, baby.
Share, like it, all the above.
Boom.
Scratched out the cereal, we call that shit a Cheerio. And then they taking clothes off and bleaching that material, I'm gone. Hey, they be wishing death on me like 50 said. Many men, trust me, there's a ton of them.